What you owe them is education. And even as a teacher, it's really your responsibility to ensure that whatever it is you're telling your students in class, that you have a way of helping them internalize it, that they understand whatever it is you're talking about. And today with me on set are students from St. Valerian High School at Maka. We'll be looking at the various teaching techniques that they love. You know, it's one thing to be a teacher, go to the class and teach. It's another thing to ensure that the students that you've taught, that they understood what you've taught. Because I've come to realize that most teachers, they go to class and they just teach, like they just say it. Whether the students understand it or not, they don't care. But if you're a school owner, you need to watch this. If you are a teacher, you definitely need to watch this. Probably you can actually change your tactics. So, and I will allow the students to introduce themselves, to tell me their names, to tell us their names and their classes, starting with you.
Thank you, Auntie Emma. My name is Ebere Fevo. I'm in SS2.
Okay.
Thank you, Auntie Emma. My name is Okoli Nova. I'm in SS3.
Thank you, Auntie Emma. My name is Ndije Buchisu, SS2.
Okay.
Thank you, Auntie Emma. My name is Arawichi Kamara. I'm in SS1.
Thanks, Auntie Emma. My name is Oyama Cletus Manuel. I'm in SS1.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Auntie Emma. My name is Imadria Feber. I'm in SS1.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Auntie Emma. My name is Chukuma Success and I'm in SS3.
Okay.
Thank you, Auntie Emma. My name is Okoya Ludin. I'm in SS2.
Okay.
Thank you, Auntie Emma. My name is Moko Shashima. I'm in SS1.
All right. These students are from St. Valerian High School at Maka, and today we'll be having an amazing conversation. They will share with us the teaching techniques that they are most comfortable with, and it will beat your imagination. It will wow you. Let's start with you.
Okay, thank you, Auntie Emma, for the wonderful opportunity
Go ahead.
to express myself. Okay, I'll be talking on visualization as a method of teaching students in school. What do I mean? I mean visualization. This is when a student is allowed to leave his or her present stage to another, let's say, another universe or another.
Like imagination.
Yes, when a student leaves his state to another state. Yes, that's what I mean. Okay, this is a very critical method that helps the students to internalize teaching quick and fast. For example, we are live right now, but I can imagine myself, or will I say someone, you can imagine yourself in Canada.
Okay.
It's possible. You might be in subway right now.
Okay.
You're trying to board the train.
Okay.
So what I'm saying in essence is, it helps the student to understand much more better what the teacher is teaching. Yes, because like me, I'm taking myself as an example. When our teacher is teaching us, I leave the normal state where I am at the moment. I start entering deep in what the teacher is saying, or sometimes I used to put myself in the character, most especially when our English teacher is reading a novel to us. Yes, I used to put myself as a character, and I think giving us that chance will help the teacher know what we think if it was actually us that was playing the character at the moment. So what I'm saying in essence is this: students love visualization, because I know there are other students out there that love visualization just like I do personally. Yes, this will help the student to understand, to grab faster, to grab anything the teacher is saying as quick as possible. Yes.
All right. That's good. That's good. Let's come to you.
Thank you, Auntie Emma, for the wonderful opportunity.
Go ahead, please.
I was talking on storytelling. Storytelling can be defined as a method of teaching whereby the teacher tells the student stories that represent what is being taught by him or her. When the teacher teaches the students in class, he tells the students stories about what is being taught. That makes the student to understand more about what is being taught. For example, as a student, I do enjoy storytelling a lot. For instance, there was a time when our English teacher told us about what was associated with health. She told us the story about the past when she did a study in the year 2014. Yeah, she told us about the equipment, how the lab theater looked like, how the equipment, everything about it. So whenever I remember it, we go back, that is, it flashes back in our mind about what associated with health. That's what storytelling does to you. In storytelling, everybody concentrates. No one is left out. No one is dull. No one is emotional. Everybody focuses because it's fun and amazing. That's why I recommend it in schools, because it's a wonderful method of teaching that makes learning fantastic.
Wow, storytelling is a wonderful method of teaching that makes learning fantastic, amazing. Let's come to you.
Thank you, Auntie Emma, for this wonderful opportunity given to me to express my own point of view. I would like to emphasize more on project-based method.
Okay.
Project-based method is a teaching method in which students gain knowledge and skills by working for an extended period of time in order to investigate and respond to a complex question or challenge. In project-based method, teachers make learning come alive for students. Students work for an extended period of time, from a week up to a semester, which engages them in solving a real-world problem or answering complex questions. What do I mean by it engages them by solving real-world problems and answering complex questions? I could remember in my school, our teachers do this more often, like my biology teacher. I could remember vividly that she came to our class and asked us the chemical formula, or rather, the chemical equation for respiration and respiratory system. Then she noticed that most of us do not know it. Then what did she do? She gave it to us as a defense project for us to go home and research and bring feedback, and share us into different groups. Everyone came together, sharing his or her own ideas, knowledge and understanding on what he or she knows, in order to do the best result. This project-based method does not only empower students, but it also ignites excitement for learning, discovering and questioning. Why I choose project-based method as a teaching technique in school that I love is because it makes students overcome stage fright, become more experienced, and to solve any illustration problems in small teams.
Wow, amazing, beautiful. Okay, let's come to you.
Thank you, Auntie Emma, for this wonderful opportunity.
Go ahead.
The teaching technique I admire most is the student-centered learning method.
Student-centered learning method.
Yes. Firstly, I would like to explain the meaning of student-centered learning method. It is a process where students are put at the core of learning process, with the teachers acting as the main facilitators, which ensures greater participation and interaction between the teachers and the students. Take for instance, the English teacher in my school uses this same method to teach the students. I can recall vividly of a day when an invigilator visited our school for supervision of lectures, and our English teacher was to use our class for her lectures. She came into the class, she introduced the topic for the day, which is nominalization. She explained and gave example of it. She asked the students to bring up with their own ideas to make sure that that they are able to understand what she's trying to teach the students. So we are all giving up our ideas, bringing out the ones that we know. So when I turned my left, I saw the supervisor smiling, up to the instance that she said, wow, such a cooperative and a collaborative learning among the teachers and the students. Up to now, I've been able to remember the meaning of nominalization, and it helps me to internalize and understand what the teacher is trying to tell us. I admire this teaching techniques because it develops my understanding, reasoning and problem solving skill. So what am I saying in instance? I'm encouraging the teachers to use this same method to teach their students, and the students to try and see the method that works for them. Thank you.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful, amazing. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Mama. The teaching technique that tickles my fancy is experiential learning. I would love to start by defining what experiential is. Experiential has to do with learning from experience and visualization. Experiential learning is an educational approach that emphasizes practical and personal experience in the acquisition of skills, knowledge, values, and attitude. The experiential learning is actually divided into two: the active experiential learning and the passive experiential learning. Active experiential learning has to do with when students or learners are engaged in a process or an activity that helps them understand the topic or a concept better. The passive experiential learning is when students are exposed to an environment that has already been developed for the purpose of helping them learn something new. How experiential learning is applied in class. Take for instance, experiential learning. I could recall vividly when our marketing teacher was in class. She was narrating the story to us concerning transportation. She was actually talking about transportation. She told us about a story that a group of people, they boarded a bus without knowing that the bus driver wasn't in his right state of mind. So on their way to going to their destination, he started taking wrong turns and overspeeding. Before they would know what was happening, he bumped into a tree and all of them died. So I was so shocked and traumatized because of the experience. I had to learn that whenever one is about to embark on a journey, he or she should be conscious of the bus he enters or the vehicle, and also the driver that is going to take them to their destination. It was through experiential learning that helped me know this. So I recommend and advise teachers to use experience whenever they are teaching.
Wow. Sharing the experience with the kids, whether it is real or not, right? But just come up with something. Amazing, let's go to you.
Thank you, Auntie Yoma, for giving me this wonderful and splendid opportunity.
You're welcome.
To talk about the teaching technique I prefer the most, of which is auditory learning.
Okay.
First of all, what do we understand by the word auditory? It goes with sound. Auditory learning is a system of learning through the aid of sound, speeches, social or verbal conversation, which is also known as group conversations. Auditory learners are ones who tends to grasp and take everything teacher says when they hear it. They tend to understand fully well when they hear. So teachers should apply this teaching technique in order to allow auditory learners understand. They should make their repeat paraphrases and summarize what they hear in their own terms. And question them with quizzes, debates, and the rest of them in order to detect their level of understanding. I can recall when our biology teacher once told us of a friend during her secondary school age who listens very attentively in the class, but she stays in the back. But during class, she comes to the front to understand what the teacher tells her because she's an auditory learner. But once the teacher leaves the class, she doesn't read her book. Rather, she distracts others who tends to read. So, auditory learners should tend to grab things fast. So, my advice to my fellow students is that we should detect the system of learning we have, and that teachers should as well apply this system of learning in order to enable auditory learners.
Amazing, beautiful. Let's come to you.
Thank you so much, Auntie Yoma, for this opportunity.
Welcome.
Well, as for me, I prefer the pairing and grouping method.
Pairing and grouping method.
Yes.
Okay, tell us more.
The pairing and grouping method is the method whereby the teacher groups the students into different groups, thereby trying to make them to talk more to themselves. This helps the students to talk about it makes them to be open. Like there are different things that a student cannot tell a teacher, but when it comes to telling your peers, you can easily do that. For an example, during our class with our English teacher, she was talking about noun phrases, adjectival phrases. I didn't understand it at first. So I went to my classmates, she grouped us. When I went to my group head, I spoke to her about it. She was like, is it this thing? She brought it down to our own level. Because it's not everything that the teacher might ask you and you might answer, yes, I understand, but clearly enough, you don't understand. You move to your friends, your peers, they get to explain it more to you. So when I did that, she explained more, my group head explained it more to me and I got it better. And today I still understand, I still clearly remember what noun phrases has to do with the grammatical functions and all of that.
Wow.
So what am I saying next is I'm just trying to tell the students that when you don't understand, maybe your teacher is friendly, but maybe one day she steps into the class and she's having a bad day.
So wait, let me get it. I'm not very enough for what we're talking about. Are students supposed to know that teachers are having a bad day?
Yes.
Wait. Get my question. Students, are you supposed to know that your teacher is having a bad day?
No.
Is she not supposed to have a way of controlling herself or himself, or even pretending to be happy so that she can teach? So why should a teacher's bad day affect the student?
Auntie, sometimes we students, we are very annoying.
Okay. Oh, very annoying.
We are very annoying. So maybe you're annoyed. The teacher was having a bad day. She was trying to control herself. Then you say something that provoked the teacher. The teacher might now get angry, and she will not say it exactly the same way she wanted to say it. When you're annoyed, you might hold back what you want to say. So when the teacher is annoyed or she's having a bad day, she might not explain it the way she actually wanted to do it. So you meet someone who understood better in class, so that the person will explain better to you in a way that you understand.
Okay.
The person will even bring it down to your own level. because the teachers sometimes they might be like they're rushing and all of that, but when you speak to your classmates, you get to understand everything.
Okay.
And when speaking to your classmates, I myself, when my classmate brings a problem to me and I'm trying to solve it, I see that I learned something that I don't even know.
Yeah.
It even makes us to know our potentials.
Yeah.
That is when you're speaking to your classmate that you realize, oh, I can speak out. I can do this when I'm speaking out to my classmates. So I'm trying to tell all the students, when you don't understand, move to your peers. They will make you understand better. And teachers, please adapt the method because, as you can see, things are not as it seems. You might ask a student, do you understand? We will tell you, yes, teacher.
But you don't understand.
But we don't understand.
Amazing. 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 I like this conversation we're having. Wow. An eye-opener. All right, let's come to you.
Thank you, Antioma, for this wonderful opportunity. The teaching technique that I enjoy the most is by dramatization method.
Drama.
Yes.
Okay.
First and foremost, what is dramatization? Dramatization is a technique that involves performing, that is, using storytelling to create an emotional connection with the audience. I love drama a lot and I tend to learn more when it involves performing as a play.
Okay.
For instance, our CRS teacher who was teaching us Jesus as the living water. At first, when she was explaining, I had no reason to be interested until when we were asked to dramatize it. When we were performing, it felt so real. Guess what, Antioma? I was the Samaritan woman who gave Jesus.
Are you serious?
What am I trying to
I
say?
still remember that story up to today, right? And the moral lessons, right? Go ahead.
What am I trying to say in an essence? Dramatization makes us to be practical. I would choose dramatization, and I know that there are other students out there who love dramatization as their best mode of teaching. Thanks.
Amazing. Go ahead.
Thank you, Antioma, for this wonderful opportunity. The teaching techniques that I prefer most is field trip.
Field trip.
Yes.
Gallivanting all over the world. Go on.
This field trip has been known for decades in many sectors, and it is a common term used in worldwide school. This field trip, I think, seems to be the most important part for both the teachers and students who are keen in learning and discovering. Then what's the meaning of this field trip? This field trip is defined as a journey or excursion taken by a group of people apart or away from their usual environment. In education, it's defined as the visit to an outside area of the normal classroom made by the teacher and the students for the purpose of first-hand observation, education, or leisure, which is done either within the country or abroad. That reminds me of just about 3 years ago when our school went for a field trip to Asaba Airport. To me, it was a very, very thing of beauty. I was very surprised because when I was still 7 years old, thereabouts of age, you normally used to picture the airplanes to be very small when it is in the sky. But when we went for a field trip to Asaba, I was very delighted on how the airplane, how large it was and how big, and how the pilots were able to control the plane when it was about to take off and when it was landing. And also when I was going through the cultural creative arts textbooks, I found out that the culturally enriched field trip led many students to have greater interest in art, or should I say artworks, and also greater tolerance for people with different views. So the purpose of this field trip is just for observation, education, and experiences such as going to campaigns with their teachers and their classmates, or should I say their fellow students. So in summary, this field trip, it is, should I say, it creates opportunities for students to experience more things and to view more important things when they go to field trips. Thank you.
Beautiful. Alright, so I've been thinking since you've been talking, there are subjects where you can actually use storytelling, right? There are also subjects where you can actually use drama. Okay? Now, what about mathematics and physics for science students? How can we engage storytelling in teaching and learning? Anyone? How many of you are science students? For from your own experience as a science student, how can your teacher, think about it, how can your teacher engage storytelling, make it easier so it will no longer be as boring as it used to be?
Okay. For physics, I'm talking for physics. When we are taught about speed, velocity, and acceleration, our master told us about a racetrack. Yes, he told us that before you move, when you're holding on the acceleration, that the speed indicator goes from 0 to any amount as for the meantime as like the particular speed the car needs for the moment. And talking about that, we are talking about equilibrium of forces. So telling us that speed after speed, the velocity, how fast the straight line the car is moving and how the car is moving in a particular distance. So telling us story about the racetrack, yes, made me understand more on equilibrium forces, and also indicating the 4 coordinates. Yes, when he was talking about he was moving from Enugu to Asaba, then from Asaba again he moved down to Port Harcourt. You checking it, he's talking about equilibrium of forces. So I think yes, for physics we should develop storytelling as an aid to teaching physics. Thank you.
Wow, amazing, amazing. But apart from that, means from all you've said right now, it means there is actually no dullard. Did you understand my question? From all you've said now, it means there is no novice, there is no student that is not at least intelligent, because there is a teaching method which will serve any particular individual. So what it means is that if a student is not doing so well academically, that means the teaching method that serves the student has not been identified. Is that what you're trying to say now? That's to say, no matter how bad the situation looks, there is a particular teaching method that the students look forward to. So the school should actually find out the teaching method for each student to fulfill their needs, right? This is to say that on the average, young people, teenagers, to a large extent, somebody that's in school is actually intelligent. There is no dull person. The only thing we need to find out is the teaching method, the method that suits the person, that suits the person's needs, right? Because there could be a person who loves storytelling. There's a person who, when you pair them within the peers, they will understand. There is somebody who loves projects. There's somebody who is an auditory learner. There's somebody who likes to visualize. So we should actually find out what suits each individual, each student, to make education better, right? And even as a student, you should find out what you love the most, how you understand and learn the most, right? I think you've solved the equation. Equation solved. I thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to you for joining us today. I believe you've learned so much. I learned too. At least we were able to find out that there is no dull person. The only thing is, find out what works for that person. Find out what works for that individual, that teenager. Find out what works for him or her, and in that way, education is easier and better. Thank you so much for joining us today on 28 Porsche. I had the pleasure of hosting students from St. Valerian High School at Maka. We look forward to having them again in the live studios of TV Sapiencia. My name is Omar. You're very sweet on radio, TV, and social media. And special thank you to the teachers that prepared them, Teacher Chidiogo, and to the sister, the principal that came with them. I love you all. God bless you. See you again another time on 28 Porsche. Bye-bye from all of us. Bye. Bye.